In the townland of Moat Park, a massive grassy hill rises 80 feet above the banks of the River Nore. It is a singular, artificial mound defined by a deep, carved trench. While the landscape appears empty today, a legal charter drafted by the English Baron Manasseh Arsic before the year 1202 identifies this exact site as a castellum, a castle. This documentation clashes with our modern expectations of medieval power, which typically center on stone walls, heavy battlements, and the vertical towers of the later Norman period. The absence of ruins at Moat Park led earlier generations of historians to look elsewhere, assuming the ancient texts referred to much later 15th century stone structures in the nearby town of Ballyragget. Despite that confusion, Ireland's official Sites and Monuments record confirms the identity of this bare hill, classifying it as a motte, as a castle, and a chapel site. This persistent disconnect between the historical text and the physical terrain reveals a gap in our modern understanding of the early medieval frontier. The site at Moat Park serves as a preserved blueprint of the initial Norman conquest, documenting a period before the landscape was redrawn by stone. The first wave of Norman fortification relied on the motte and bailey, a massive artificial mound supporting a wooden tower, or bretache, and an enclosed courtyard protected by timber palisades. These earthworks were the high-tech military architecture of the 12th century. Manasseh II Arsic, an English baron who arrived during Prince John's 1185 expedition, constructed this specific motte as his caput, the administrative and military headquarters for his new Irish holdings. To secure his position, Arsic integrated the site into the wider Anglo-Norman power structure. He endowed the local Tullabarry chapel to St. Thomas's Abbey in Dublin, ensuring that the agricultural wealth of the district flowed directly to one of the most powerful religious institutions in the colony. This endowment created a legal and economic bond that anchored the frontier military outpost to the highest levels of political influence in Dublin. In its prime, Tullabarry operated as a self-contained unit of the Norman state, combining physical defense, political loyalty, and organized religion into a single landscape. However, Tullabarry stopped evolving before it could reach the stone-building phase common to other major Norman sites. When William Marshal became the Lord of Leinster, he systematically purged the original loyalists who had arrived with Prince John. The Arsic family was displaced in favor of Marshal's own men. The new Lord of the Soil, Stephen Archdeacon, shifted the center of his operations. He abandoned the wooden fortress at Tullabarry in favor of a river ford that offered better trade prospects, the site that would eventually become the town of Ballyragget. Rivalry between competing waves of conquerors turned a functioning headquarters into an obsolete ghost town. While the timber towers of the fortress rotted away, the site's legal status remained static. As official owner of the chapel's tithes, St. Thomas's Abbey in Dublin acted as an absentee landlord, maintaining a financial interest in the abandoned grounds. This created a clash of titles. Local lords attempted to sever the connection to Dublin to redirect tithes to their parish. The abbey escalated the dispute to the papacy in 1220. The Pope ruled in their favor, freezing these revenues in place for centuries. This legal persistence forced the monks to meticulously document every detail of the Arsic grant in the Register of St. Thomas, creating a permanent archive for a settlement that was physically disappearing. Because Tullabarry was abandoned early, it was never leveled or obscured by later stone construction. Its 12th century earthworks remain in pristine preservation. Simultaneously, the legal greed of the Dublin monks ensured its exact history was preserved in ink long after the physical fortress was gone. Tullabarry documents the progression of the Norman colony, preserving the physical record of the initial invasion, the political displacement that followed, and the legal bureaucracy that outlived them both.